Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Student Empowerment episode of the Escambia County Council PTA Zoom meetings. I appreciate everyone attending, and I am now going to throw it over to Student Empowerment Chair Frank Ray. Did I get your title right?
Close enough.
And let him do introductions from Florida PTA.
Awesome. Thank you, Melanie. And before I start, I'm going to go ahead and turn mine over to our VP of Leadership, Karen Mazzola, who has taken a few minutes out of her busy schedule to join us. She is our leadership chair. Karen.
Thank you very much, Frank. I want to say hello and welcome everyone. I really appreciate you being here. This is really Frank and our students committee, and I am proud to be a part of it, to watch them lead and grow. And I hope this is the first of many of our students to participate in. And thank you, Escambia, for the invitation, Melanie.
Thank you very much, Karen. And yes, absolutely. I echo that. Thank you very much for the invitation. We are just getting to be a group ourselves. We're still getting to know each other. But we had a fantastic first meeting, and we have some amazing young people. I say that because I'm old, and that's just the way things are going to be these days. So what we're going to do tonight, for those who are here to listen to our students, we're going to do a simple roundtable discussion. I have some prearranged questions that the students hopefully got a chance to look at. If not, I'm sure they'll answer them rather easily. But the whole point of this is to share what's going on in their, not only their minds, but also their hearts, and how they can, what they're thinking about, some of the struggles, some of the victories, some of the things that they're dealing with every day at school, some of the ways that they feel like they can influence and be a great advocate for the community as well as our schools. And obviously, we want to grow our membership as well in the state of Florida. So we have some wonderful people at our membership, for our VP of membership, that we like to support that way as well through our students. But tonight is all about just listening to our students and really hearing what's going on with them and what they're dealing with. But we are going to allow you, if you have questions, please save them. We will take them at the end if we don't cover them in between, and we're more than happy to do that. We'll try to keep this to an hour, if not much less, so that you guys can get to Monday Night Football. Sorry, that was for me. Sorry. Anyway, so let me do this. Let me have our students introduce themselves, where they're from, so you all can see how amazing they are, and then we'll get started. So I'll start with John, because you're on my left here.
My name is John McDonough, and I'm from Hillsborough County.
Thank you, John. And John is the son of Kimberly McDonough, who is our Hillsborough County Council PTA president. So we're excited to have him on here. I've known John since he was since he was shorter than me, which is not too long ago. Mackenzie.
Hi, my name is Mackenzie Frazier. I'm from Duval County. I am in 11th grade.
All right, Kay's rooting for you there. She's from Duval as well. I don't know if you know Kay or not. So our next, we have Lucia. I got to say that right because it's such a beautiful name.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Lucia. I am an 11th grader from Miami-Dade County. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
All right, so we have Dade, Duval, and Hillsborough. We have the whole state covered tonight. Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's all I see for our students for right now. We may have one or two join us. So again, I have some questions. I'm going to kind of pose them out. Students, jump in when you can. If it gets to be where we're talking over each other, I'll have you maybe raise your hand or something. But otherwise, let's just go ahead and jump into this and speak from your heart, speak from your mind. Everyone here is here to listen to you, to understand what's going on with our students, how they can be better advocates, and how they can put you in better opportunities to be advocates for yourself, as both in your school and your community. So the first question is real simple. As a student, what's the first thing that you think of when you hear PTSA or PTSA at your school?
I guess I'm gonna go first. The first thing I think when I hear PTSA is parent involvement. That's the first thing I always think about, our parents being involved, like what our parents are doing around the school and like how they're managing the school. Because my mother's been in PTSA since I was in elementary school, so I really understand. I've been through this since all the way. I'm in high school, so I've understood. I've seen it. I understand the sacrifices that a lot of parents and like teachers make to be a part of PTSA.
Wow, awesome. Great job, man. I gotta write that down for myself. I gotta use that one next time. John, your hands up.
So the first thing I think of when I hear PTSA is I think about how parents, teachers, and students collaborate to advocate for the school and for the county that they're in.
Excellent, excellent. Man, you guys are knocking it out of the park already. I'm so proud of you guys.
And if I
Is
may
it?
add, yeah. What I think of when I think of like the PTSA at my school, I like to think about like the community bonds that are being built. I think about the collaboration not only between like parents and teachers, but also the fact that especially now, like I'm seeing a lot of students becoming involved with their communities. And so thinking about PTSA, it's just kind of about the bonds and the communities that we're building and we're shaping as a unit.
Awesome. So I wrote down each of your answers, and you actually said didn't say something that typically comes up for our adults. I never heard the word fundraising in any of your answers. And I love that. I don't know about Karen and Melanie. I love that because that's one of those things where I'm like, that's a big second place. It is advocacy, parent engagement, involvement. John said collaboration. These are things that we as adult PTA people need to really start stressing, put them in bold print, the words that we want our PTAs to be about. And I'm so proud of you guys for doing that. And this was not planned at all. So parents, I hope you hear that. Caregivers, I hope you hear it. It's about collaboration, parent involvement, and community. So those are areas that their students are thinking about. Next question. What are some things you can think of from the past? And I know I think Mackenzie hit a little bit on it, from past PTA, PTSAs that have been a part of to help your school, some areas that you think have helped your school.
Okay, I can go. Definitely think like student okay. So at my school, I go to Paxson in Duval, and we have health fairs, and we also have mental health days. So we have dogs come out, so students can pet the dogs, can have like fun. Then we have games where they can do puzzles for mind breaks. This is during lunch, so like when they get a chance, they get a chance to take a break, get a chance to take a break from school. Especially at my school, we're a very rigorous school, and like it's very hard coursework. And I think PTSA, like they pay for those programs to do that. They pay for the programs to bring these people here to like put the students first, to put their mental health first, and like yes.
That's amazing, Mackenzie. You and I are going to talk about that more often off screen here. That's wonderful. I love that. I love the fact that they give you those breaks, that they understand how tough school can be, and sometimes you just need to turn your brain off for a minute or two. John, go ahead.
So when I think about the past for PTSA, I think about how parents, teachers, and students are involved and how that helps everybody's daily life because they're able to help you like personally and help your school personally.
Okay, excellent. So it's an everyday thing. It's just being accessible, being there. All right. Lucia, did you have anything to add on that? They kind of nailed it for you.
My bad. No, yeah, they basically covered everything for me. I think it's also like my main experiences with the PTA was like as like they were mentioning as like a little kid. So I just remember them helping out a lot, doing events, mainly in elementary school. Middle school, the pandemic hit, so didn't see much then. But it's definitely that they're always helping brighten up the community.
Okay. So let's I'm going to go off. I'm going to veer off just a little bit. Hopefully, we won't go down a rabbit hole. And this is not a question I wrote for you guys, so I apologize. COVID hit 4 years ago now, but all of you being in high school went through it for 2 or 3 years of your life. How difficult was it to kind of regroup, reset, And then was there anything, I know Lucia said a little bit about PTSA. Was there anything that the PTA could have done or did do to help out? And the reason for this question is when we go through some difficult times at school, hurricane days, things like that, or trauma days that may bring trauma, testing, things like that. I'm looking for some areas where PTSAs can be helpful.
Okay, since I was the one who mentioned COVID, I think I'll start with that. I feel like coming back from the pandemic, and it's kind of sad to say, but I didn't personally see like my PTA do the most it could have. I feel like coming back from such a time where we were so isolated and felt so alone, it would have been really nice to have held like community events for people to gather over shared interest and to just kind of reconnect, because I feel like we became so separated from each other. We couldn't even interact in an interpersonal level. So having those kinds of events hosted by the PTSA would have been nice. And then after like hurricanes and things like that, I know that at a point in time they used to do relief packages where they would help out families from the schools who had been affected by the like intensive rain or the hurricanes to like make sure they had their basic needs met.
Great stuff. Awesome. Thank you very much. Mackenzie.
For me personally, I think lack of communication was a big thing when it came to like recovering from COVID or recovering from a hurricane or something of the sort, or an emergency. And I think like the PTSA has like a platform in which they can like communicate to different students, communicate to different counties, communicate to different teachers and parents, and like help us like support each other. And like I think they provide a connection in which you can like communicate and support each other, like different counties, and during these times of emergency. God forbid we have COVID again, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Amen. Preach it, sister, because I don't want it again. Thank you very much. All right. Well, I know I went down a different path on that one. I threw a curveball at you guys, but you guys handled it pretty good. Next question. I want you guys to be brutally honest here. And this is probably one of the main reasons why I am doing what I'm doing today, which is being part of this student leadership, because I feel like we as adults have not done a good enough job. So the question is, as students, do you feel like your voice has been heard, both in the community and at your school, with your needs, things of importance? Be honest. There's no superintendents on here. Don't worry. John, go ahead, John.
So I think that like students can like have ideas and tell people part of the school and tell people part of like councils and stuff what they want. And at my school there's like student councils, so they have a big part in events we do. So that's a big way that they can use their voice and get messages out. But I would definitely like if there was other ways and easier ways to do so.
Very good. Thank you. Awesome. All right, Mackenzie.
when we say like have a voice, I think it's not like the lack of like having a voice personally. I mean, I'm not out here like preaching to the choir or whatever, but I'm saying like I didn't know I had a voice, or at least I wasn't communicated I had an opportunity to say these things, do these things, whatever. Like I'm jury class officer in my school, so I now understand that I have a platform to talk or like share things with my students or share things with my teacher. But like I guess it's not like in front of our faces. Like we can't see like, oh, you have opportunity to talk here, you have opportunity to share your ideas here, and like it's lack of access. Like that's just what I think.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna lack of access on the building that communication pipeline.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think lack of access to like the knowledge of like how do I speak, where do I go, how do I get my voice out there, or if I have something, or if I'm scared, or if I'm worried about this, where do I go, you know?
Okay. But you're willing to do the work if it's out there and you have somebody supporting you, is what you're saying, though.
Yes, I definitely think so. And I think a lot of my peers would too. Like because they just want to know that they're supported at the end of the
Okay.
day.
And I ask you a question. It's very important because we as adults need to know that, hey, We need to put the work in on ourselves, but the students are waiting for somebody there to lead the charge with them, and so that's important. Lucia?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk a bit about like at least how it's been with Miami-Dade County. Like in at my community level, we're very heard because I come from like a small school, so they want us to be involved, which is like very good, right? Because we want to see kids getting involved at the county level. I'm a member of my county's PTSA, and I know like whenever I speak, they're listening. They're actually there for us. We recently like had an initiative and it was passed, and we have a student school board member representative, which is honestly incredible. So I feel like we're definitely getting our voices out, and there is definitely people willing to receive them. But as Mackenzie was saying, we're not being informed too well that we have those opportunities to let our voices be heard. It's not something that a lot of them know about. Like I would tell kids at my school, like, hey, I'm like with our county PTSA, I'm with our school PTSA, and they'd look at me and they'd be like, wait, you can do that? That's something we as students can do. And it's like, yeah, we can do these things are within our reach, and it's just that a lot of them are unaware of it.
Okay. And that's another, again, I'm glad you're saying this stuff, that you're unaware of things, you're not sure, you know, you have a platform, because again, these are areas where we as PTA leaders can step in and be that bridge to take you where you need to be, where, you know, in front of the people you need to be in front of. So good stuff. And you guys were nice. I thought you were going to be a little crueler on us, but I appreciate you being kind to us on that. Now we're missing one of our students here who she had been to a couple of these. So I asked these questions for her, but I'm going to ask them to you as well. And if not, I'll kind of fill in the blanks here. Has anyone here been to a school board meeting before? It's good. Good.
No, I haven't been to a school board meeting, but I've been in a general meeting because I am the rep at my school, the 11th grade rep at my school for PTSA. And sometimes I'm lost. Like I'm gonna be real. Like that's how I feel like I'm not educated enough, and unless there's maybe I'm missing it, maybe I'm missing like where do I go to learn about this stuff, or where do I go to understand what language they're talking about. But a lot of times when they tell me to say I just say I, I just go with the flow. Like
Right. I gotcha. I totally understand. It can get, listen, when I started doing this, and I'm sure Karen and Kay and Melanie will tell you, when we started doing this, all these parliamentary procedure things were like, what? So we probably did the same thing you did. Don't worry. All right. Anyone else? John, have you gone to one of those with your mom? I don't know. You escaped those as well. And Lucia, no.
I know the student representative on the school board for my county, so I get little bits and pieces about how it's like from his perspective. I haven't been able to attend. I have heard a lot of stuff about them. We had one recently on 9/11 that was pretty long and pretty polemic, and I heard a lot about that one. They tend to be long. They tend to be very wordy. I've heard some of the like measures that are passed through them, and I'm like, I don't know how he does it, but kudos to him because it's a lot.
Now, Lucia, you're down in Miami-Dade, right? You said?
Yes.
Yeah, you're definitely actually all of you are in big counties, Hillsborough, Duval, and Miami-Dade. Those are going to be some serious meetings. They're not going to be 30-minute long conversations. I would encourage you. I know Isabella had been to a couple, and I believe Duval, and I'd been a couple as well, and taken some kids. I would encourage you guys and ladies to go to these and speak at them. And it could be as simple as, hi, my name is Mackenzie. I go to this school, and these are some of the areas that we are focusing on. Because I guarantee you, the superintendent and the school board members, you're the people they want to hear from. You're the people they're going to want. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell you this, but it's the truth. You are a perfect opportunity for them to take a picture with and to show that, hey, we're meeting. But you know what? you take that opportunity yourself. The fact that you get a chance to meet them and talk to them, it's important, and you'll get a lot more mileage out of it than a lot of us parents who go in there and they complain about every single little thing. And I know in Hillsborough County we had a young lady a few years ago named Anna Patel who went to one and spoke on. She was doing, and I see you, Melanie and Kay. She was doing setting up a 501c3 to do feminine products in Title I schools, both in middle and high school. And I got to meet her and became friends with her. And I mean that because she invited me some of her stuff. But it was my honor to go to things. But she got a chance to speak to the school board members, and I know a lot of them supported her financially as well as sharing the information out. So I would encourage you guys and ladies to go to some of these meetings. But I'm going to throw this to our parents and our caregivers here and our leaders. Take them, go with them, because I'm sure none of you are going either, or at least I not all the time, because they are boring and they are long. But one of these times, get a chance, take one of your students, take one of the leaders in your county or your local units, and sit there for a few minutes and let them get a chance to talk in front of them. At the very least, they're going to learn leadership qualities and leadership abilities by speaking in public. Melanie?
Oh, I was just going to, I'm not sure your schedule of events, but I believe there's a couple of students from Escambia on this call with their parents. So should we have them put in the chat any questions, or do you have a place in your agenda for that later on?
Yeah, we're going to let them ask anything they want at the end in case we cover it.
Gotcha.
But we definitely certainly want questions. I love questions from students. That'd be even better because we have students here to answer them. Thank you, Melanie, for that. Kay?
Yes, I want to especially say to Mackenzie, we have a new superintendent here in Duval, and I know he's very, very interested in the students and what they have to say. And it would be great if you would attend a school board meeting and speak on some things that the students are encompassing in the schools that they need help on, or some things that could change. He's very open. He's a very kind-hearted man, and he's very interested in what's going on in our schools. So try to get your parents to take you to one of the meetings and talk to the students, and go there and let him hear from you.
Thank you very much, Kay. I appreciate you saying that, especially Kay is a wonderful advocate. I would definitely get in touch with her. I'm sure she'd love to go down. Kay also works for a cruise line. I won't mention her name. So, you can always hit her up for a free cruise too, if you have to.
Cruising in 2 weeks.
There you go. You can, bribe her or whatever you call it. But anyway, great stuff. Next thing I'm going to ask you, and I'm not going to throw you guys under the bus if this is not your passion, but I hopefully you'll at least give us some ideas. What are some ways you enjoy volunteering at your school or just in your community? It could be anything.
For me personally, I just love helping people. Like whatever I do, like even in the future, I want to help people regardless of what I do. So like getting involved with especially younger students, helping them, educating them, and like through PTSA, we can do like volunteer service and like do tours and stuff for our school and like explain what PTSA is to them. And especially like as a student, like it translate better. Like coming from a parent or a teacher, sometimes it's like we have two different ideas of what life should be or how life goes. And I think I can connect with a student better, and I can explain to them what's going on and how it's working. And like I think that's just so cool, like being able to connect with a student on that level.
Hey man, I love you. Your smile is infectious, by the way, when you speak. I love that. Good stuff. John?
So at my school, there's a lot of clubs that you can join, and there's a lot of different community service opportunities that you can do. I mean, you can go out and collect trash. You can go join some like fun runs or stuff like that. There's a lot of ways you can be involved in the community.
Absolutely. Good stuff, John. Thank you very much. So I'm going to call on Andrea. in just a moment. She's joined us a little bit late. She had some connections, technical connections, but and I know she had some other stuff going on. But Andrea was on this committee last time as well, so she certainly has the pulse of what's going on. And not only that, she's her mom is Lisa Hoyland, if you know her. So she is 100% committed to the work and the advocacy of what goes on with Florida PTA. Andrea, I know you had your hand up. Did you like to answer that, or you had something else?
Yes, I can answer that. So I believe there are several ways you can contribute as a volunteer at your school, like considering organizing a cleanup day to help tidy up the campus. Additionally, you can assist with events such as dances or offer your support by tutoring students in the community. So I'm no longer a student, but in the community, I still volunteer with NAMI and Youth Move and several other mental health organizations here in the community. So there's other ways to also volunteer in the community. Check your local support groups, your local NAMI chapter, recreation centers, stuff like that. There's multiple different volunteer opportunities in the community as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Wow. Good stuff. Awesome stuff. You can tell she's been doing this a long time. She knows what she's doing here. So the reason for that question, the whole reason for that is I wanted our students and our parents and caregivers who are listening to hear that we understand the impact of volunteering. We understand how it creates a great vibe, a great strength in our communities. And for our students, one, being selfish a little bit, they do need the service hours, but two, as you can see it, they want to do this. So I would encourage our PTA leaders to reach out to some community groups and find out how your students can become part of it. I know when I was my son was in middle and high school, we would take them right around the corner from school. They had a assisted living facility, and we brought 4 or 5 kids on Wednesdays and Fridays. They were an orchestra, and they would play some music on the orchestra, cellos, violins, and for about 15, 20 minutes to the residents. And then we would play some card games. And I know that was, for me as a dad, a very proud dad moment to watch that, but also for the other kids. And that's just a great way to give back. And I think for our kids, they have, again, that excitement, they have the energy to do those types of things that don't take a lot of work on our end, but man, it sure does make an impact on a lot of other people. So I would encourage you guys to find some areas that they can do, or maybe even around school. Very good. I am going to ask the question. I know we do have a membership chair. I am going to let you guys know Denise Nicholas is our VP of membership for our state. She's working hard to build our membership up. She also has a student membership as well that she's also trying to build our membership up with students, and I know she's going to do a great job there. So I'm going to ask you a membership question here, and obviously we want to see what happens, and maybe we'll share this information with Denise as well to assist her in her work, because it's a lot of work doing that. So what are some ways that PTSA leaders, what can we do to gain you as a member, or gain others as a member, and become more participatory, if I can say that right, at your local school? So what are some things, I mean, besides bribing you, threatening you, begging you, pleading and all that, what are some other ideas that you have? Lucia.
Okay, because I've actually been working on student involvement here at my county through the county PTSA. So I have some pretty good idea to what you could do, at least to get students involved. From the plans we're preparing, right? And I know at state level we do conventions and things of the sorts. I feel like getting students involved and perhaps reaching out to them for them to become involved in those kinds of events that benefit them would be a great way to get them involved, as well as reaching out throughout the state, because I feel like a lot of the things we do statewide happen like in the northern counties, and it's like there's a lot of big counties down south that the students can't really attend because it's like really far. So definitely spreading activities throughout the state, also letting them know, hey, if you become a member for the Florida PTSA. Here are things you like. Yeah, bribes. Here are things you get. It's like, oh, you get to do community service things that like get you hours. Ooh, nice little recommendation letter for college. A nice little diploma. It's like, and you start enticing kids into thinking, oh, hey, apart from being like part of my local community, I can be part of something greater, something bigger. And it's those little things that were like, oh, they're bribes, is whatever. But those are the little things that get the wheels turning.
I love it. I'm so glad that you agree with me on the bribe part. But yes, it's funny, but it's hopefully not true, but it is funny. Andrea, I'm just going left to right here. Andrea.
So I believe that you can attract members by attending events and ensuring that the students feel valued. Additionally, organize activities that involve students, teachers, and parents while maintaining a visible presence at the school.
Excellent. Very, very good. Yes, absolutely. I love that what you said at the very end, just having that presence at the school, letting people know, because I think it was said earlier, Mackenzie may have said it, you're not even sure that some of the stuff is even available or what's going on. And I think that's half the issue is we really need to promote it because I think Karen will tell you, I know the other PTA, Kay and Melanie will tell you, it's we have that uh, inability sometimes of not sharing why PTA is so important. And it's really to advocate for our students and our teachers and our communities. And when we are able to really be clear and eloquent about that and articulate that, I think the buy-in becomes a little better for our parents and our students. But that's an area that you as students can do probably a lot better to other students. So, Mackenzie?
For me, I think the best way to increase like student membership is to promote that they have a voice or that they have an opinion in whatever they do. Like, like the PTSA should be giving a student a voice and like showing them that like I know most children like they feel like or most students feel like they don't have an opinion or that they don't feel like no one's listening to them. So I think the best thing that you can do is listen to a student or listen to what they have to say and like at least acknowledge them. I mean, we're not gonna make big leaps every time we have a conversation, but having a conversation is the start.
Excellent. Very, very good. Thank you, Mackenzie.
I'm taking what's
John?
said.
Oh, okay. John?
So I spoke about clubs earlier, and I think it's a great idea to have sort of like a PTSA club. So like anybody can be involved, like parents, teachers, students, anybody can be involved and have their voice be heard. And there might be some incentives that could be involved with the club, and you can do good things. And I think that would really bring up membership and participation in PTSA.
Awesome. Very good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a club, and promoting it, especially for those who are looking for a way to give back. That's a great way. Mackenzie, your hand's still up. Did you have something else, or is it just okay? That's fine. No problem. Andrea, you were saying something. Did you want to just come on and kind of say what you were saying, or no?
Yeah, I can say what I put in the chat. So I said with the promotion, you can put why it's important, what it's about, and what you may get out of it.
Right. There you go. Yeah. All the things are important. So now one thing you guys did not say, I'm very surprised. That's okay, because I'm gonna say it now. You are, excuse me, as a PTSA member and a student, you are automatically can be part of getting a student scholarship from the state of Florida. So every year, Florida PTA's our leadership conference, we try to remain professional for most of the time, but on a Saturday night, it gets a little crazy. We call it PTS talent, but the whole point of that, besides making us look like we don't know how to sing, we don't know how to dance, is the fact that we are raising money for our student scholarships, as well as we have other student scholarships. What am I trying to say? Raising funds for that throughout the weekend as well. And I know we even have a student scholarship. I don't know if it's a chair or we have somebody just run scholarships. Karen, that's correct? Still correct? Okay, good. So there is a focus there monetarily to assist you all. Obviously, the monies would go towards either a college or a technical school. But hey, it's free money. There's obviously some caveats to it. There's write a letter, do some things, which we will, as a committee here, we will actually look at those later on during the year. But bottom line is, free money is my type of money. So scholarships are one. All right, so keeping it going here. Getting a little personal, not too personal, but is there any areas that you personally feel passionate about as a student advocate? And I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, so I'm going to give you some answers that I wrote down. So we have school safety. Maybe like on our school right around the corner, we had some students and parents advocating for some crosswalks and some lights that needed to be put there because there was some issues with kids crossing the street. Volunteering, obviously, we talked about that a little bit. Testing, I know that's always a hot button topic. I know because you guys love testing, I'm sure. Environmental, maybe things about doing recycling, stuff like that. So I'm kind of throwing those at you to maybe get your mind moving. But are there some areas that you feel just personally very passionate about wanting to be impactful? Andrea?
So for me, like I said, I do a lot of volunteering in the community as well with NAMI, which is the National Alliance of Mental Illness. And I learned about Hope Squads in schools. And so like in elementary schools, there may be a buddy bench where students feeling lonely can sit. When others notice someone on the bench, they can join them to offer friendship. In middle and high schools, there might be trained peers, students available to support those who are facing challenges. These peers should be equipped with a plan on how to handle a crisis if it is brought up and know when to seek additional assistance. Engage with your local NAMI chapter for resources and support. I know NAMI has NAMI on campus for colleges. Maybe there might be something that you could implement. I know in Sarasota, Manatee County, they have a thing called Lean On Me program. And then consider hosting an event for Mental Health Awareness Month in May and Suicide Prevention Month in September. Also, if you would like any additional information about Hope Squad, I've created a presentation about Hope Squad, how to get one started and whatnot. I would be willing to share that information with you if you want to give Frank or myself your email and let me know, or Frank will let me know that you want that presentation and I can send that to you.
Wow, thank you, Andrea. Great job. Thank you so much. And yes, I think that's you do some great work in there. I appreciate that. Lucia.
Because you were talking about like volunteering, whatnot, testing. So one of I think my main goals as like a student advocate is actually that trying to through the volunteering kind of create like a tighter knit community for the students, for them to feel like they've got at least one community they feel a part of. I feel like because, especially in my county, because we are such a big county, it feels like there's so much going on, and a lot of the kids feel like they're out of place. And so, at least for me, with like my county PTSA, and definitely at a smaller scale in my high school, my my big idea is to kind of make it feel like, yeah, there's so much going on. But even if there's so much going on, you have a place within the PTSA. And like through the volunteering, I want the kids to like connect to each other. I want to, have them build those connections, have them build those relationships. And then also, big thing, academics. At my high school, I'm hoping to get at least the people in my grade a little bit more excited and a little bit more prepared for testing, because I know every year it comes around and every year it feels more like a drag. And we just kind of have to start building up student morale, because we're in our last few years. And honestly, at this point, testing should come around and we should be like, hey, one of our last times, it's okay. We've got this. We've done this a million times. And instead, it's like, this again. And it like changing that attitude is like definitely like big priority.
Wow. Yeah, I do not miss testing, but then again, I used to test on Scantrons, so that's way back in the day. John?
Something that I think is very important, I'm very passionate about, is the way students interact with each other. I think their social skills are very important in their daily life. I mean, you go to school, you have to. I mean, you should talk to others, talk to your peers if you're confused about something. You should feel comfortable asking questions to students or teachers, so that you can get on track for everything. And I think it's very important for that. And we have like spirit weeks where we can all like dress up as certain things, have certain shirts, wear certain colors. And I think that really brings all the students together and helps them collaborate and feel comfortable with each other.
Awesome. Yes. Good stuff, John. Good stuff. Mackenzie?
Going back to what Lucia said about like students have so much going on all the time. Athletics, clubs, their home life, family life, right? And I think the one thing that can cover all bases, like me, I want to focus on information, spreading information, letting everybody know what is going on, because we're often like, even just my friends, even my like the group I hang out with, we don't know what's going on, or like they don't know what's going on. Like this is a different level to them. Like they don't understand this stuff. Like we don't understand. We don't know what's going on in the community. We don't know what's going on in the state. And I think that's the biggest thing that will increase student membership as well. Like just knowing and like being aware of what's going on will increase student membership and like cover all that.
Awesome. Yes. Good stuff. Very, very good stuff. Thank you, Mackenzie, as well. All three of you, wonderful, or four of you, wonderful answers. I'm so glad you shared them because I think it's so much more important in here. Couple things, and then I'm going to kind of allow us to open it up to our to anybody with any questions, or if our panel wants to share anything else that maybe we didn't cover. Reflections. Reflections is a program. I'm not sure if a lot of you are familiar with it. If you are, wonderful. If you're not, it's actually the oldest program in PTA period, national PTA. I know a few years ago it hit the 50 years, so it's probably what, 55 now, Karen? If I had to guess, right around there. It's an old pro. It's not as old. It's unfortunately, yeah, I'm about the same age. How's that? That hurts a lot saying that. But it's a wonderful program. I know for a lot of our students, especially where my son went, we have a lot of students that is the way that they think, they process, is through art, is through photography, is through writing, through dance, through music, things like that. And Reflections has been a wonderful program to facilitate a lot of our students in getting to that next step, to being recognized, being noted, to winning awards, to winning scholarships, things like that. So for those of you listening, as well as and I say my kids, they're not my kids, but I wish they were now. That's a wonderful program for you all to think about, is Reflections. It's totally free. It goes from elementary all the way to high school. And it's just a wonderful way for you to share who you are with others. Yes. Yes, she was on Andrea. She was Lisa was, and she's done a wonderful job. And I know we've had a few people here in Hillsborough, I think, as well. Another question I was going to have for you, and again, I'm kind of going sideways just a little bit on this, but it was brought up. Mentoring. Does any of you, our students here, and we can ask even the students who are not officially part of the panel tonight, but are here, I would love to hear from you. Do you have a mentoring program at your school where you either mentor other students or maybe go to a different school and help them out? Because that's something we started a few years ago at at my son's high school. And what I mean by mentoring is just almost being like a big brother, big sister, helping with homework, being a confidant, that type of thing.
I think we definitely have big brother, big sister like programs in our county, but in my school, like specifically, I don't think we have anyone. Like we have like tutoring, and like we can go to like our counselor and say we need this, this, and this, but I don't think we have that specific type of program within my school personally.
Okay. John, go ahead. Thank you, Mackenzie.
Off of what Mackenzie said is like we do have tutoring, but I think there should be more ways in which students can help other students who are having issues or need help. I think there's not enough chances that you can have to do that. I feel like there should definitely be more ways that we can help others.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, John. Yes. So real quick, because I know we're getting past our time a little bit. What we did was the high school, we set up where the high school students, and they were, of course, students who were doing well in school. We didn't want them to be suffering, having their own struggles. We wanted them to be doing well because they were going to miss some school during the day. They would go to one of the elementary schools, which was a feeder school right down the street, and they would go in the classroom while the teachers are there, usually before school started, and just work with the kids on math, science, ELA, whatever the teacher needed. But it was a great way to not only tutor them, but it was a great way to build that friendship, that bond, having somebody there. So that's something that I would maybe we'll talk about as our student committee down the road, maybe try to get done through our schools. It's not hard, but it does take a little bit of flexibility from two principals as well. The only other thing I was going to throw up is I would encourage. I know Kay and Karen and Melly already know this, but for the parents and even the students who are listening, go to a legislative conference. I believe is it March, Karen? March. It is in March of 2025. It's in Tallahassee. It is a wonderful opportunity to get, I'm literally in front of your local and state leaders, those who you may live right around the corner from, those are representing your communities, and talk to them about what's going on in your schools. Again, they would rather hear from a student than a what do we call a lobbyist. And I've heard that from them. They tell me when they see a lobbyist, it's going to be the same conversation. When they see the student, they get very excited about that. So I would encourage you, and I also encourage our parents and caregivers and our PTA leaders to put that into your budget to take a student. Students are typically a little less expensive to take. It may cost a little bit if you're going to stay overnight, if you have to drive, if you have to stay overnight, but we try to keep the cost very minimal for our students. Karen, do you have the date? Is that what you're looking for right now? Okay. We know it's in March. We do know we'll find the dates out for you. And I know we'll be here. We'll be there. The board of directors will be there, but we'd love to have as many students to get there and have a great time. We're actually trying to plan to have something similar to this, either virtual or in person, for all our parents and caregivers who arrive there, so they have some talking points when they get in front of their lawmakers as well. So but it's a fun time. It's exciting. It's fun just to get out of town for a day or two anyway. And it's usually during the school week, so you can miss a couple days of school. I'm sure none of you will complain about that. So with that, I'd like to open it up. Go ahead, Karen.
I just wanted to say we haven't ironed out the exact date of the legislative conference, but we're looking at the second week in March, because if we get any later, we're interfering with spring break. And the reason it's in March is that this year, the actual session doesn't even start till March. So it's all of March, all of April, maybe a week in May. And we don't want to go too late, because then a lot of decisions are already made and we don't have as powerful an impact. So kind of block out I shouldn't say second week. It would be that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of that week. Is what they're looking at and looking to book places for. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you very much. And listen, since it's so late, which I didn't realize session started so late, I would say maybe make a trip down to your lawmaker while they're in town and talk to them first. And then when you show up in Tallahassee, you already have that warm conversation with them. They know who you are. So I'm gonna open up to anybody with any questions from those who are listening, and then as well as our panel as well. If there's anything that you all would like to share that's on your hearts tonight and on your minds that you would like that we didn't cover, please, please, please share it with our group. All right, not seeing any questions yet. They can, and then Melanie, type them in the system, or do you want them to come on if they have a question?
Either one, whichever one they feel comfortable doing.
Okay.
I would love if the people from Escambia had some questions about how to. Y'all have done a wonderful job of giving ideas to us, and coming directly from the student themselves is awesome. And I really do appreciate your time tonight. But I was wondering if any of my students the students in Escambia County happen to have any questions. or ideas that they wanted to share either in the chat or coming off mute, or if any of the parents that are on here wanted to chime in on anything or ask any questions of Frank, Karen, or Kay, because they have all been around PTA for a long time and they have a lot of knowledge. So that might help you get your student empowerment going in Escambia County. So speak up or type in the chat maybe.
I'm going to speak up real quick since nobody's raising their hand, because I have a cheat sheet Frank gave me early in the week, and I didn't hear anybody say this, but I think there's some fantastic ideas that our Student Empowerment Committee had given Frank for our PTA leaders, and two of them. One, when you have, some PTAs have monthly PTA meetings, and some have just their general meeting 3 times a year. But I love the idea that the students wrote, give the student a chance to speak up, put them on the agenda, have them talk about whatever they want to talk about, and let the parents in the audience hear them, and the other students too, of course. But I thought that was a wonderful idea. And frankly, I don't think it has to be a PTSA. I could think it could be a PTA. I think you could have one of your students do that. I think Kay's shaking her hand, because you have 6th graders getting ready to go into middle school, and they have ideas for their school. And let's just listen to our kids. And Frank's heard this, and all the students on this committee have heard this, but I love this thing that I saw at a conference, and it was nothing about us without us. And if we as adults can just keep that in mind for our students, we're going to go far. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen. Yes, I'm glad you said that. I totally missed that one. So I would encourage our PTA leaders to have a student or two on your monthly meetings. Typically, the principal at the school where we're at, he would allow them to speak first, or the president would, and the principal would be there. He would give them 10, 15 minutes away from class. They'd speak for 5-10 minutes on what's going on at school, give us some feedback, and then go to their class. Please, that is a great way to show the value to your students, that they're important and they're appreciated. Mackenzie?
At my school, we have representatives in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. And what we do as on the meeting, in the meetings, is when we have student programs or whatever when we do budgeting, whatever the student programs, they want us to ask questions about what the budget is going to, or like how is this affecting students personally, and like we have a movie night, right? But it was like a crazy amount of money. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, why is this happening? And then they explained it. They broke down every piece of the budget, or they broke down this, and this. And now I can explain to my friends, oh, this is what's gonna happen there. This is what's gonna happen here, and this is how it's benefiting us, and this is how it's benefiting you. And like, yeah, it's just, I love the opportunity to be able to like understand what's going on.
Awesome. Awesome. Anyone else? I think you students, you got a big way to go from Kelly. She appreciated you guys. I don't know if you saw it in the chat. She appreciated you guys being here. I know I appreciate it. I know Karen does, and Kay and Melanie. We get excited for you students. We really do. You have new ideas. You got energy. We just need to give you more platforms to talk and to bring those ideas out. And I think that's some of the things that we're working on. But well, Melanie, I don't see any more questions. If anything comes up later, you're more than welcome to send them to us, and I'll send them to the students, and they can give some answers. But I want to thank each and every person on here who's given us almost an hour of your time and your life away from your family to spend with these kids. I'm sure I'm echoing exactly what you're thinking. They're worth it. They work hard. We feel like we're in good hands as parents and caregivers watching these kids grow up to do what they're doing. So I'm really excited for them. Karen, do you have anything you want to add? If not, I'm going to give it back to Melanie. Thank you. Melanie?
I just want to reiterate again, thank you to Frank and his students for taking their time to do this for us up here in Escambia. We are a small county and we're trying to rebuild. And we only have about 52 schools, and we're over the halfway mark on getting our PTAs and PTSAs back. So many of them that are coming back are PTSAs, and we have 3 leaders from 3 different PTSAs on tonight from Escambia. One of which just got reactivated after being down for several years. So getting the students involved in the PTSA is one of our initiatives from Escambia County Council PTA this year, to have our students' voice heard. And I do appreciate your time that you have given us. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's been our pleasure. Students, anything else you want to add at all? Or you guys are good? You're like, I got homework.
I want to just give a few closing remarks. You guys are thanking us for being here, but I also want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak. You guys have given us the space to be able to communicate our experiences and our ideas on matters within the PTA, which is always appreciated. So thank you for that. Also, thank you for taking the time. It is late at night. So thank you to you guys, thank you to the parents and the students who are somewhere out there watching this. Thank you for being worried about your communities and wanting to make them better, because at the end of the day, that's the end goal for all of us. So thank you.
All right. Good
Welcome,
stuff.
thank you. I have to ask
Awesome.
Andrea a question real quick. You put 2-9. Did you mean 1-9?
No, I'm actually 29.
Thank you, Andrea. Just
You're
double
welcome.
checking.
You're welcome.
So Karen, you're not the first person to ask that question to her
I
today.
know, like, did you do a typo to me?
Yeah, Frank was like, wait, you're 29? I'm like, yeah.
I didn't say it like that because I know I get.
It was through text.
So we do have 2 adults.
I can
to
only
support this.
envision how he said it.
Yeah, no, I was just making sure we had 2 adults to support all our students on the committee, and I thought that was a typo. Just checking. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I have one other thing, Frank. You said you had the state covered, but you don't have the panhandle covered. So if you need a student from Escambia County, let me know.
Well, you're talking to Karen right now, so
You send me the information and we will certainly research that. I'd love to have Escambia on every single committee. I think the president wants statewide representation for sure.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, students. I'll be emailing you tomorrow again about stuff not coming. And Melanie, thank you very much.
Thank you all. Have a great night.
Good
Thank
night,
y'all so
students.
much.
You
Good
did
night.
great. It
Thank you.
was very
Bye-bye.
good. I'm very proud of all of you.
Yes.